Now, more claims are surfacing of NATO troops bribing the Taliban with disastrous results. Italy's secret service is under fire for allegedly paying off insurgent leaders, which is thought to have contributed to the massacre of 10 French soldiers. RT's Katerina Grichova has more.
When parents outlive their children, their grief can be indescribable. But their pain is doubled if they learn the tragedy could have been prevented. Joël's son was one of 10 French soldiers killed during a Taliban ambush in Afghanistan 2 years ago. Now he is suing his son's commanders for reckless endangerment.
We're suing them because they made our children go on patrol that day with no safety precautions. Commanders knew the Taliban swarmed all over the area. There was no scouting of the route from the air. And shortly before the attack, soldiers caught their Afghan translator talking to somebody on the phone, which is strictly prohibited. They reported it to their commander, but were ignored.
Recent reports have reopened the father's wound even deeper. Claims in the British media say the French made a catastrophically incorrect threat assessment because they were unaware the region was being kept calm because of bribes being paid by their Italian allies.
After I heard the news, I talked to the French soldiers. Did you know about the bribes? And they confirmed that the Italians they took over the area from paid the village chiefs. It wasn't directly to the Taliban, but through middlemen.
Rome denies the allegations. Even a fierce critic of the Afghanistan campaign refuses to believe that war tactics could stoop so low.
I can exclude with almost complete certainty that our officials ever paid the Taliban or any other terrorist organisations like Al-Qaeda to prevent attacks on the Italians. We try to talk to locals. We regard their religion. Italian troops are attacked less because they have closer ties with the Afghan people.
And yet some still hold the principle, if you can't kill your enemy, you buy him.
Afghans are famous because, as we say, you can't buy them, but you can rent them. So at least for a certain amount of time, it's even in the counterinsurgency manuals, what, for example, the Americans did in Iraq after a certain amount of time, buying the tribal leaders in the Sunni areas, in Anbar, etc. It was public, it was nothing secret.
Paying off the Taliban has already become official strategy for some. A $500 million plan to buy off jobless fighters was recently approved. 43 NATO nations now fighting in the country believe this last resort measure could end the 9-year-old war. But Joël is unconvinced. He can only speculate over where the Taliban got its cash to buy the weapons which killed his son. And he hopes that European protection money won't end up as barrels pointing at their children. Katerina Grichova, RT, Rome.
Carol Turner, an activist from the Stop the War coalition, says Afghanistan badly needs money to rebuild, but paying warlords can only fuel violence.
I'm in favour of legitimate aid to Afghanistan. I'm not against money going to local people in order to rebuild their societies and rebuild their local communities. But it doesn't seem to me that this particular set of money is going to that effect. It's simply paying local warlords and tribal leaders and so forth to go over onto the NATO side. And whether or not, if that happens, whether it will last is another question. I think British troops and other foreign troops that are over there, the foot soldiers, are simply used as fodder for what governments see as their long-term security interests. And I don't think they're genuine security interests. I certainly don't think they're going to prove to be to the benefit of the local population, and therefore I don't think they'll bring either peace or justice. There's much being said at the moment about the possibility of starting to draw down in 18 months or so. But all the military you hear doing follow-up interviews, longer and more discursive interviews about what they think is going to happen in Afghanistan. They're all of them, every single one of them, emphasising that they anticipate, given the present situation, that foreign troops are going to be occupying Afghanistan for 10, 15 or more years.